Yeah, the discussion today is about you're raising Goby. The Goby came to here by virtue of coming in on boats, but the problem with the Goby is they're bottom feeders and they feed on the same organisms that yellow perch and bluegills and trout perch and other native species feed on, and they reproduce very well. They actually make a little burrow that the female lays her eggs in the burrow and she protects them until they hatch. So they're very good at reproducing. And the big deal with the Goby population, as they gain in numbers, they create such a biomass that they displace other species that are native to the area, and that tips the entire ecosystem, and not necessarily in a good way. I mean, we as fishermen and the public like yellow perch. Well, gobies eat the same thing that yellow perch do, and if you have enough biomass to feed, say, 10,000 yellow perch, and now you have 5,000 yellow perch and you have 5,000 gobies, that's enough to feed that amount of fish. So your native species that are more desirable, because gobies really, they don't benefit anything. They supplant other species, but they don't benefit any species. Other fish will feed on them. That's a given, and that's true. But they do displace the more desirable species that we like to catch and eat. So that's a big deal with gobies. And some people talk about being able to control goby movement by virtue of the fact gobies don't have a swim bladder, but if you've ever watched a goby in an aquarium, they can go up on the side of an aquarium wall and latch onto the side of the wall just below the surface. True, when they turn loose, gravity pulls them down, but they can motor along the bottom and latch onto a vertical surface, motor along the bottom, latch onto a vertical surface, and go upstream against current in that way. Also, it's well known that fingerling gobies can get behind a piling, and there's a current behind a piling, and they can actually surf, if you will, that current and go all the way to the surface. And they're not very big, they don't weigh much, and then all they have to do then is go around the piling and surf back to the bottom. They can go upstream by virtue of getting behind obstructions. They can also surf behind a boat, like porpoise surf in front of a boat. There's a wake or a void, if you will, behind a boat that a fish can get into, especially the very small ones, and surf behind it and actually move upstream behind a boat over any obstruction that will allow a boat to go over. These fish can go over in the same way. I mean, it's fairly easy to see how this works, and it's well known that they can do this.